G'day, welcome back. I'd especially like to welcome my new subscribers, and I hope you enjoy the content of my channel. If you missed part one of the little steam engine My Way build, there's a link up there now, you go watch that first, then come back and watch this one. Alright, so let's not muck around, let's head over to the mill and we'll see what I'm going to get up to this week. Over there. Alrighty, so I can't do too much more to this thing because I've got a height gauge on order. It's still a few days away. I'm going to need that to work out exactly where I'm cutting this in half and all the rest of it. But in the meantime, I want to just try and clean these two bits up a bit. I've just faced that off before, just ran the mill over there just so I've got a cleaner face to work off, so I can work out a proper centre for it and everything else. So I already had a crack at this side here, so now I'm going to do the other side. Bit of light on the subject mightn't hurt. Alrighty, let's go. God, it's hot out here today. Went down the road this morning trying to buy some bronze bushes for here, but they just didn't have any, so I've had to order some come out of China, so maybe a week or more away too. I won't take too much more out of them. I'll clean up the outsides, clean up the sides as well, maybe just run over the top of this. Well, that still hasn't cleaned that face there up, but I don't really want to take any more off that. I can't afford to, I don't think, because that line on here, from what I understand, if I'm going by the size of the H10 model, has to be 3 1/8, and that line is 3 1/8 from there to there. And I've got an 8mm shaft, and I might end up having to move it and shorten it and figure it out how I'm going to get around it. But I just want to clean this side up a bit now. The reason I want to clean these tops off was so that when I go to the pallet I can strap down onto the top of this. Alrighty, I reckon that'll do that. I'm not going to try and run that 16mm cutter up here because I won't be able to get close enough to the end. So I think I'll clean the tops on these bits up later on with a smaller end mill. Alrighty, I'm just swimming in a pool of sweat here, so I'm going to call it quits. Alrighty, so while you weren't looking yesterday afternoon, I did a little bit more to this thing. I knocked the tops off here, and I did run up there with that 16mm end mill. And earlier on I'd actually cleaned out the inside of this after I'd faced that off the other day. Now, I've got a lot of bits and pieces on order, hardware and stuff mainly. There'll be none of that BA rubbish in this thing. It'll be all metric, so I'm going to use M3, M4 and M5mm hardware on it. So I've got all that. I've got some stainless all threads on order. I've got stainless nuts on order. I've got those bushes, bronze bushes on order. So I don't want to machine the crankshaft until they get here because it doesn't say whether they're a finished size or I've got 8mm centre, but is it going to be under? Does it need to be finished? I mean, I don't know. So I'm just going to wait until the bushes get here to find out before I touch that crankshaft. Now, I did mention I was hoping to get the main cylinder out of this, and I sat down and did some calculations this morning because luckily, when I had a hunt around online, I found an exploded view of all the parts involved in it and numbering, and a list that coincides with all those numbers on that drawing with what I believe to be the rough size, like the cast size or whatever it is, whatever material it's made out of. So I've got something to work from because there's going to be a lot of guesswork in there. I don't have the finished sizes and I'm only working off what I've seen other people stating that they've made something to when they've built an engine from a kit. But anyway, I want to just clean this thing up. I had a good long hard look at the end of that end of it there, so I cut it in the saw so it's not too bad. Did some calculations this morning and I'm pretty sure I can get the cylinder out of this thing. So what I'm going to do is just clean it up a bit so I've got some clean surfaces to work from, and then I'll meet you back over at the mill. Won't bore you with that. Also, I want to clean this up because I said I'd like to try and get the steam chest out of this, and I can get it out of that, so I'll be cleaning that up in the mill as well. Alrighty, so that's the shape this thing's got to end up. My buddy took mountains off this face here, which is the one I wanted to work from, trying to get rid of a couple of imperfections in there, and in the end I thought, yeah, with a bit of luck I'll get rid of it when I bore it. But there's a little one just here that is just outside the bore size, so I'm going to have to take some more off the face. But anyway, this thing's supposed to be 1.25 inches long, gone in 1 3/8 inches, hoping that I can get that out of there eventually. And I'll clean this up now and just mill the sides off. I'm going to eyeball it to the lines, because hopefully that'll be close enough. Supposed to be 1.5. I think I will actually I might just run back over that without taking any more off it. Yeah, that's ended up a bit bigger. It's supposed to be, I think 1 inch across there. Close enough. I tell you what, for just eyeballing where those lines were, I had to readjust this one once. But those two I got first go. So I'll finish all of the rounding off of that in the rotary table when I finally get it on there. And I'm just tossing up now whether to try and bore that out or not in here, or do it in the lathe. What will I do? Shit, I think I might do it in the lathe. Drill it and bore it in the lathe. Well, I still got this on the back. Put in the forge jaw and adjust it out. No, adjust it up, get it right. Alrighty, so while I'm over here on the mill making a bloody mess, I think I might just stay in the mill. This will be the last thing I do today. I'm just going to dress this up, because I will need to put this in the forge jaw to machine a couple of bits on the ends of it. So let's go, Joe. It took a bit more than I wanted to then, because I've got this bit in the centre here. But then I realised it's all got to be machined out in the centre, and that doesn't matter, or it shouldn't matter. Alrighty, this thing's got to come down to 1/2 inch, so 12.7 millimetres. I've got out here 20, fucking hell. Huh. 3, 4. Alrighty, that's got 10 millimetres to come off there. I'll bring you back later. I might put the end mill back in there and chomp through it, and then come back to you. Alrighty, that took for bloody ever to do that. I think I measured it wrong in the first place, because I actually had to get some more parallels out, lift it up higher. I've got about 0.5 or something to come off there at the moment, so I'm just going to take a 0.2 pass and remeasure it. If you thought I was taking big chomps when I did the first lot of passes with this, it would be because I had it in imperial still. I thought I'd switch it back to metric, and I was going in 0.25, so that's so sure that's 1/4 of an inch, is it? Yeah. No, I wasn't taking that deep a cut. But there's nothing on this DRO that tells you whether you're showing imperial or metric. What do we got here? Stop view. Still over 13.02. Go another 0.2. Ratchet stuffed on this mic. What do we got? We've got 12.58, 12.83, 12.8, so it's 0.13. Oh. just about bang on, about half a hundredth over. That'll do. Can live with that. Well, it's iced coffee o'clock, so I think I'll try and go down the road and see if I can get one of them without somebody trying to inflict vehicular manslaughter upon me. And I won't bother videoing the rest of the dressing this up. The next time you see this will be in the lathe. Alrighty, so I said the other day when I made this casting that I would have to recast this one, the base, because it's stuffed up. So I've got in this morning and made this one up. I was tempted, I did say then that I'd try, maybe make it solid. I was tempted to cut the centre out of it a bit just so I wouldn't use so much material, because I am running out of that 12 kilograms of old aluminium castings that I bought. There can't be more than a few hundred grams of it left, so I'm going to have to start melting down anything I can find around here that can be remelted. I can't even find the dud one I made. I don't know what I've done with it. I found the can that I cut off the top of it, but I can't find the casting. I don't know what the hell I've done with it. Hopefully it'll show up before I get a fine day and want to do this. It absolutely belted down with rain here. We had a massive storm this morning, so the Weather Bureau finally got the forecast right, because I said the other day when I cast these that the forecast for next week wasn't good, but today's the first day it's rained since then. It's ridiculous. Anyway, I'll give this a little more time for that glue to set properly, and I'll get some plaster on it, and hopefully the sun will come out after lunch. It's just come up for 11 o'clock here at the moment, so I'll hopefully get this dried up. Only needs a couple of hours in the sun, but and then I can just leave it, put it aside and wait for a nice sunny morning, and I'll cast this one again. Alrighty, so there's that little bit I was playing with yesterday. I've just spent forever. I truly hate this four jaw. I had no trouble getting it centred this way. But man, I have some trouble getting it centred this way, and it still isn't. It's about somewhere between 4 and 5 hundredths out of centre, but I don't think that's going to matter for what I've got to do. Now, what I need to do on this end is just machine a little thing like, you have a look at this image up here, you'll see that little bulge on the end. Well, that's why I've got to do this. I don't have any actual dimensions for this, but I'm going to go in 8mm and make it 8mm around. I've got plenty of length in this thing to play with. Actually, that's just under 7mm, and I'm starting to think 8 might be just too long. I'll go 8. I've got, like I said, plenty of material. This thing only gets a 3mm hole drilled up the inside of it, so plenty of meat there. Another 0.3. Alrighty, a very nice finish on there. Alrighty, so I found these on the online store I buy a lot of my stuff from the other day for rounding off things. So I'm just going to use that. I'm going to mount it in one of these things with a groove in it, and just round that off with it. I've got a 6mm and an 8mm. I might use the 6mm one. Yeah, I just want to round it off, make it look nice. Yeah, one of these. Oh yeah, it should hold it. Alrighty, so I've got a little brass strip there. Try and keep it in place. I'll swing this around, try and get the centre height right. Alrighty. Okay, after that storm this morning and all the rain we had, I'm just so humid. I'm standing here in a bloody puddle of sweat, so I've had enough for one day. I might not come out tomorrow and go through the hassle of recentering this bloody thing and do what I've got to do the other end. What I've got to do is flip it around and drill in a little bit with a 4mm hole, and then change over to a 3mm drill and drill it right up into here a bit. Can't go too far in there. That's why I was happy to make that as long, 8mm, because it needs to come up in here a bit. So the guys who use the kits to make these, they have a bit of an issue in that the cast iron piece they get to machine this up from has got a big hole already cast in the centre of it, so they have an issue trying to drill it, and they've got to plug it and do all sorts of rubbish with it. But because this is still solid, I shouldn't have too many drums drilling that 3mm hole up through there. Alrighty, so no repeat of yesterday morning's storm. This bloody thing crawling around the ground, and there are hundreds of them out here. Some sort of centipede, God knows what they are. Anyway, so no repeat of yesterday morning's storm, so I've got this poured. Only had about half a crucible today, but looks like it was enough. And that's come out bloody fantabulous. Beautiful. Yep, phantasmagorical. I was worried about this bit here on the other one, so I put a little brace in there which I'll just machine out. And these two squarish looking corners here, I'll run a round cutter into there and just make them round. But you can see you get a much better surface finish on this one because I sanded it up a bit, so it looks better. Alrighty. Alrighty, like I said, I hate this friggin' 4-jaw. It's just so temperamental and so hard to adjust, but we've gone the opposite way this time. Not so much trouble getting it right this way, more trouble getting it right that way. So it's about 1/0. And one the other side, yeah, the one the other side. So we're at about 2/100ths on that side. And about 3 or 4 this way. I won't bother showing you that. Get that out of the way. You know, while rewatching a video on making 10/8 last night, I discovered well, I saw a sheet with dimensions for this thing on it. So I took a screenshot of it, so I know what I'm making this to now. And I've scribed a line on here, both sides that I can see from that end. And I've got to machine it back to there and then leave a bit in the centre and blah 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 blah. But anyway, this, like I said, the finish on this is much better than the other ones. Still got those little pits and stuff, but you've got to sand them a lot to get rid of those. This is higher, much thicker than it needs to be, and that's probably a lot thicker than it needs to be. So this side should clean up pretty nice, and then once I flip it over I can just bring it down to height with this one. But then I'll have to flip it back again and machine the guts out of it in here. But I won't be doing that today. In fact, it's lunchtime now. When I come back out after lunch I'm going to do this, and then that'll be it for today, because my darling wife is insisting I go to a party in town tonight, a birthday party, and it's Sunday, and ordinarily I would say no way, I'm not going out on a Sunday night, because I get up at 5:30 in the mornings, and I don't want to be, you know, having 3 or 4 hours sleep and have to get up at 5:30 to take my daughter to school. Well, get her up, get her ready for school. So like I said, lunchtime I'll go and have some lunch, come back and I'll do this, and then that'll be it for today. Alright, so let's get this done so I can go have my poppy nap. I'm hearing rumbling like a storm, so just as well I got that casting done this morning, and I've brought everything in back inside from out the back. I've set my Z value to just in front of that line so that I can go to 0. See how square is that? Look, yeah, not bad. Get the same side, both sides, cool. I'm going to get rid of this tip because it doesn't leave a very nice finish. That's one of those aluminium tips, good for ripping into it with, but leaves a shitty finish. Particularly a storm out there, there's some awful, I don't know where you could hear it while I was machining there, but there's some loud thunder in there. I'm glad it's a midday storm, not a early morning storm or a mid-morning storm. There it is there. Hear it? Yeah, it's not brilliant still, but it's a casting, it's not going to get much better than that. You might get rid of that bit the easy way and just drill it off. For anyone that's interested, as I said before, I marked a 0 mark back here. When I used to write, when I set up all my CNCs and all the programs that I wrote for it, most CNC programmers program 0 from the front end of their job. But because we kept making the same stuff over and over and over and over again, like varieties of different things, but always the same things we were making, I had my 0 set at the back. I can't remember exactly how far it was. I think it was about 2 or 3 millimeters out from the collet face, because we used ER40 collet chucks. And that way, anytime you went past 0, you knew you were in trouble. You're about to run into the chuck. So the only things that ever went back past 0 was something that was putting the chamfer in down in close to the bottom, or the parting tool, and I used 1.5mm parting tool so you could, you know, get close to the chuck, or a drill that was going up the centre, or a boring bar or something. So I did it as a safety thing. Most people never agreed with me, but that's what I did. Well, I've got rid of that and centered it for me. Yeah, beauty. Right, now I'm going to depart from the plans yet again. I'm going to put an M8x1 thread in there. Right, I haven't got anything out ready for that, so I'm going to turn this camera off and I'll come back when I've got everything ready. Alright, change of plan. I was thinking I'd bought a new M8x1, but the only one I have is a crappy one that came in a little cheap ass set I bought, so I'll just go standard M8x125. I need a gland nut. Alrighty, now I've got to put a 4mm hole up there, but I'll go 3.5 and then stick the 4mm reamer up there. I should make up a scale from a cheap vernier or something to for my tailstock. One thing I can't do is drill through the end of that bloody little bulb on the other end. That would be an absolute disaster. I suppose I can always drill this just a little bit deeper later if it's not deep enough. Really should go 2.5 and ream this one, but I've got to turn the end of a piece of 4mm bar down to 3mm, so I'll just turn it down so it fits nicely in that hole. Absolutely don't want to pop out the back. Right, slow that thing down. I'm going to go in too far with this thing, so I think you go in 5mm past that face there, which should be, what's that going to be? 15mm, not quite a bit, 5mm from the back of that. Alright, so all I need to do now is just clean that edge up, and that part is finished in the lathe. These things have some sort of a packing in them originally in a proper steam engine, but I've got that sheet of Teflon, so I'm thinking about just cutting out a piece of little round bit with a 4mm hole in it and putting it in the bottom and doing a nut up tight against, hoping it'll squeeze it down. Alrighty, so that's that. Take that out of there now. Anyway, so that's that bit done, short of machining the 3/4 inch square in the centre here. At this point in the video, I'd like to thank my patrons. This continued support is greatly appreciated. If you'd like to become a patron, there's a link down in the description. You can sign up there and drop me a couple of dollars every month. If you don't want to be a regular contributor, there's always buy me a coffee. Now, let's get back to the build. Alrighty, yesterday was a dead loss after going out Sunday night. I'm just getting too old for this staying out late bullshit. We used to stay until the sun was just coming up when I first came to live here, but way past that. I'm over that stuff. Anyway, I got nothing done yesterday. Although I had a bit of a clean up late yesterday afternoon. I didn't feel doing anything. But what I did do was drew this up because I don't have the actual dimensions. I do know that from there to there is supposed to be 3/4, but I don't know what that is. And looking at other videos and things, that it looks rectangular. So I've just gone with the same width all the way around the chest here. I do know that, well, I'm pretty sure that the valve that slides in here is 1/2 inch, 12.7. It does look to have clearance either side, so I'm going with 15mm. 19mm. I've got this all centered up, so let's do it. Alrighty, quick sanity check here. Alrighty, so if I got this right, that should be 17mm. Oh no, 18mm, sorry, yeah, I stopped 1/2 mil short each end. It's actually 18.25, and this should be right on 15.22. So we're not getting a lot of accuracy here, so I need to go another 0.3 that way, each end. Alright, what do we got now? 19.08, which is probably very close to 3/4. 752. So I think that'll do me. Alright, well I'm going to dig out a smaller end mill so I can get in the corners a bit more, but I won't bore you with that. Alrighty, so now I'm going to drill 4 holes in here, so I'm going to go around and spot it with a little tiny centre drill I've got up in there. You can't see it, but it's there. Well, that's this thing almost finished. There's only one thing left to do to it. I don't think I'm going to bore you with it because it's just drilling and tapping a hole. Alrighty, so it has to have a hole drilled and tapped in here for the air input, where the air goes in, well, the steam goes in. Because I only intend to run this on air, I think I'm only going to drill and tap a M5 thread in the side here to run a piece of tube in with to drive it. I don't think I'll need any more than that. Alrighty, so that's that bit done. And that's this video done. So I don't think I've got much more time left this week. I hope you enjoyed watching me do that. I hope you might be getting something out of this, and I hope you might be becoming encouraged to have a crack at something like this yourself. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week for what it'll be part 3, I think. So bye bye.